Right now we're walking through the heart of Historic Oakwood, which is one of the most popular neighborhoods in Raleigh. We're gonna check it out, see what it's about, and see if it's a place you might want to live. Before we hit up one of the houses, I'm going to check out one of the neighborhood coffee shops, The Optimist. I've been here a few times. Pretty nice spot, pretty chill. It's a good place to work at, but it's technically within walking distance. You should be able to get here within, depending how fast you walk, it's 20 minutes. So we'll hit that up. We're going to hit up a restaurant, and then we'll also hit up Two Roosters for ice cream. Back of The Optimist, waiting on the coffee. Pretty decent spot to hang out. Halloween decorations. Obviously these lights are on at night. So I'm recording this outside of smokestacks instead of inside. It was just super loud, right? But a couple thoughts coming out of it. I obviously only ordered one of the entrees, so did Emily. But kind of thinking through it, for two people, if you're trying to maximize like a full course meal, you're probably gonna want to budget about 80 bucks because they do have the specialty cocktails, they have appetizers, they have entree and dessert, and they're all relatively smallly portioned. So it's not like you're gonna get full on any one of those. So yeah, I mean, we got by with tip with $43, but I imagine if you want a full experience, maybe even upwards to 100 bucks. This? Sorry, no ice cream inside.
Oh, it looks like.
Before we begin the tour, let's check out two landmarks of the neighborhood, the Oakwood Cemetery and the Tucker House. We're approaching Historic Oakwood now, more or less the border. So to the right over here, this is the cemetery. The cemetery is more or less the eastern border, but it's considered an Oakwood cemetery. It's located in the adjacent neighborhood, which is Idlewild. But for all intents and purposes, we're just going to consider it part of Oakwood. So we're over here at the cemetery. Super nice entrance up there. Now, this is not open around the clock. I think it's really only from sunrise to sunset. Now, oddly enough, I was walking through here along the side and I saw a group over there playing bocce ball, which seems like an odd thing to do in a cemetery, but so be it, I guess. (1918). This person's 1962, so at this rate it's dating back over a century ago, which means that some of these people were alive. Oof, I mean, when the world was a completely different place, really. Supposed to be up here and to the left is a sort of a landmark house. It used to be an actual house for somebody. It's called the Tucker House. So it's a house that you could book online for things like weddings or events, but other than that, it's closed off as it starts getting much louder over here. So it's going to be hard to talk. At the same time, that noise gives you a good representation of what you're actually dealing with if you live on this side. So that's a public school, Murphy Public School. I don't know what grade that is. But that's the second school. It's fairly close by. I mean, all the schools here are super well rated. There's a school rating system that's done by a third party. You can find them on Zillow. So, yeah, super nice venue. I'll just at least walk up to the front. Obviously, I can't go in. So, yeah, historic landmark. Just a house from 1914. Toller Tucker. So, historic landmark, just used for venues nowadays.
Now that we've seen some landmarks, it's time to tour the neighborhood by car.
So, right here, this marks this little pavilion here. This is a public park. This marks the easternmost side of Historic Oakwood, meaning what's right in front of us, and to the left off of Linden, this is all Oakwood. So we'll start by taking a left here. And as you can see, more or less what this neighborhood is known for is more historic looking houses that have a little bit of character, and oak trees lining the sidewalks. And over here is actually one of the restaurants. This area right here used to be somebody's home, and they decided to open up a restaurant out of it. And when the zoning changed to pure residential, because they were already running a restaurant, they were allowed to keep it open as long as it continues being a restaurant. It's called legal non-conforming, and so it has. And so even to this day, it's still a restaurant, even though it's like smack dead in the middle of all of these houses. Alright, so we're coming up on Jones Street, and you can see to the right here, there's a sign for Historic Oakwood. This is a stop sign. And you can get an idea of some of the character of these homes. Like, this is pretty representative. Now I'm just going to sort of zigzag through these streets so we get an idea of what we're looking at. See, like right over here to the right, like that's a super nice home in here. I mean, this street, because this area was originally meant to just be housing for the people working in downtown Raleigh way back in the day. This area was known for agriculture and textile, and so this is more or less the original housing district, and it's since been revitalized. You're going to see a lot of projects, like we passed one earlier that has the dumpster outside. You're going to see a lot of really old homes that are purchased and then renovated to look super nice. Lots of four-way stop signs like this pretty much throughout the entire neighborhood. It looks like a grid on a map, and every single meeting point, every single crossroads is a four-way stop sign. So this right here, this little green, well, you can't really see it because of the tree. It's a sort of like a, I forget what they call it. It's like a public library. It's like a book swap. It's just sitting there. You could bring a book, put one in there, take it out. Kind of an honor system. So right here, this is a church. I believe we passed another church or church equivalent on the other street over, but This is the main one here. See over here to the right, you can see some of these places are a little bit, I mean, actually that's not too bad. I'll find a house that's in a super rough condition. One of the things you will see here, because there are old homes right next to new ones, is what is essentially gentrification. So you might see somebody buy like a really old home like this right here. If you can see that, a really old home for the land. Like they're buying the home and everything, but what they're really after is the land. And see, this actually doesn't look as old when we're on this side, but from the other side it looked old. They'll demo the home and then just reconstruct a brand new modern home on it. Typically like an entry-level luxury home. I don't know what shop this is to the right. I'm gonna still take a left here so we get an idea. There's a park over there to the right. That's a city park. All city parks have sort of like a brown and green side. But yeah, see, like right ahead of us, it's like just these roads with trees lining both sides of the street. See right here, renovation. That's what, number 2 we've seen. And there's definitely a lot more. Porta pod right there, that's probably being renovated. Older home. But yeah, you see some nice character there. Open house sign over here. Alright, let's just keep driving through. Some of these porches, like this wraparound porch here, is like so nice. Alright, so we have yet another project right here. Super pink house. Right next to a purple house. I wonder if they're related. Okay, so we're gonna take a left here because I want to show you this. We're not gonna stop because I don't want to creep these people out, but over here to the right is a Halloween house. It's actually on Google as a business. I've never been in there. Like, as far as I was aware up until I found it on Google, it was literally just somebody's home that loved Halloween decoration and is year-round just putting up kind of interesting Halloween decorations. But yeah, no, it's like a legit spot on Google. I don't know the story of it though. Okay, so we've already been down this street, so let's take a right here. Super nice open house. See, these over here look like newer construction homes. So you get more of the traditional architecture style here. Like if you look over here to the right, the homes that we're about to pass, you see these pillars or these columns, right? Yeah, I mean it's definitely a neighborhood with some character. I think this is a small little office space. Over here across the street in the corner we have another small little boutique or something like that. Oh, boutique's over there. So we're about one street over from the outskirts of downtown, like one block over, to put that in perspective. Okay, so this is where, that's a one-way street, so this is getting to the part where I need to actually pay more attention. Look at this, see, another home. Right, like very, very small radius from each other, and you're gonna see a lot of that going on. Obviously, as you could tell, lots of street side parking. And another sign for Historic Oakwood. Okay, we're gonna take a right here. So, the street up here is the western border of Historic Oakwood. To the left here we have the post office, and across the street from us, that's Longleaf Swine. So that's actually, in my opinion, it's a super good barbecue place. Now, I've been told barbecue has kind of two polar sides. There's two different primary styles. So, also before I get into that, to the right, this is a Mexican food restaurant. Yeah, see, better one there. But anyways, what I was saying about Longleaf Swine is some people like it, some people don't. Apparently it's up to your style of like whether it tastes sour or sweet. But I thought it was good, so it's for what that's worth. So left here is downtown. Now, as you can see right in front of us to the right, this is a biking lane. So these are pretty common downtown Raleigh, but that's part of the Greenway. And the Greenway is a citywide biking and walking system that's meant to support both recreational activities, biking, walking, just exercise, but also a green method of getting around the city. And it literally spans throughout the entire city. So again, this is the western border of Historic Oakwood. So we're gonna drive along this just to get an idea of what's here. Some of these here are for sale. Like that one right there, I do remember seeing this one. It's not, like, because it's on the other side of the street, it's not considered Oakwood, but, you know, it's close enough. And then right here across the street, this Krispy Kreme is super popular. So apparently it is the first Krispy Kreme in the state of North Carolina. It's still open, gets a lot of traffic. So if you're in the Krispy Kreme, that's a good spot. And then over here to the right, this is the northwestern edge of Historic Oakwood. So we're gonna be taking a right here. It's this right up here. So lined with restaurants. To the left, that's Burger Bar. To the right, over here, this is a complex, but we just passed like a pizza place. And so across the street here is Two Roosters. It's a super popular ice cream spot, which we'll go there later, or maybe we've already been there, depending on where we're at in the video. So I'm gonna be taking a right here because this is the northwestern corner of Oakwood. So it's bound to the north by Franklin Street and to the west by Person Street. And like, it's not a perfect rectangle by any means, but you know, I'm trying to bracket it in for the sake of showing you around. All right, so we're going back into Historic Oakwood. I can take a left here, which, why not? I'll do that. This is tracing the northern edge of Oakwood. See, this right here is a modern home, and it was almost 100% guaranteed that somebody just bought the lot with the home on it and demolished it. Like, it's very common, right? Because all the investors around here, like, you can't buy cash flowing properties. Like, it is super difficult with high interest rates. And so the predominant investment approach is to, again, flip or develop. All right, so that's a Salvation Army Community Center. You know, this is actually the part of Oakwood I don't really go to. So this is, I've been here like once or twice because I was driving through it, but other than that, not aware there's terribly much up here other than just more housing. These all look new over here. Okay, so Watauga. Watauga is considered the eastern border of Oakwood. This is the road that if we keep following, it's going to lead us to the cemetery. I've walked this before coming back from Two Roosters. I live technically in Idlewild, which if you go off Google Maps is part of Historic Oakwood. If you go by the city of Raleigh, it's not. So I've walked this road several times. Okay, so we're coming up on a whole set of new construction condos. It's in an excellent position. So for the sake of showing you around in the car, I'm actually going to take a left here, which is leaving Historic Oakwood. So you can see there's the cemetery again. We're on the other side of the cemetery now. This is often a run route that I take. I thought it was a squirrel running in front of me. But down here is an elementary school that, if you're living in this area, it's likely the one you're going to be going to. So there's a lot of amenities nearby. So if we keep heading in this direction, we're going to run into also a run club, and then part of the newest expansion of the Greenway. So we'll keep driving down this. So that's the Oakwood Park that has the dog park in it. I'm gonna take a right on this road up here is called Glasscock. Funny name, but it's one of the main roads in this area. And you'll get a pretty good idea pretty fast, like how this area also feels. So over here, Optimus, this is a bodega. It has I think it's Mexican cuisine. It used to be called Brookside Bodega, and then I don't know what happened, but now there's a new restaurant that's running it. So you see some older homes amongst some more renovated homes. And then over here, you're gonna see new construction luxury home. That's like 1.65 million, I think. And over here is also by the DGF builders, also new construction luxury home. It's just really a good case in point, right, of this area. Mix of new luxury homes mixed with old homes with character that have just been well upkept or renovated, and then homes that are a bit more. I see that over here to the left, like that's a super nice area to live. That's for another video though, because that's not considered historic Oakwood. By again Google Maps, they would consider that Oakwood, not historic Oakwood. I'd have to check with the city to see what the actual neighborhood name is by plat. But over here is the St. Augustine track. The run club, Runology, the one that I mentioned was down the road. Every Tuesday they host a track day. It's open to anyone with the run club. The run club's free, at least from my understanding. And yeah, you use the track there. St. Augustine is a historically significant university located in this area. This is now the Idlewild area. It's a popular university for a lot of the locals, historically and presently. And so you could sort of see it as more of like a community university that offers a pretty solid undergrad program. Nice little building there. They're trying to figure out how to remodel it. All right, so we're back here.
And now, let's go on a little walk to check out the homes for sale.
All right, so this is the 315 Polk Street listing right here, listed by Brad Sturman. This one is listed at 1.3 million. It might be just under 1.3 million. It looks to be in pretty rough condition. I mean, maybe not, maybe it's solid bones, but Person Street is right there where that car just passed. I guess you're paying for location on this one because it doesn't look newly renovated. Now, from what I could tell from the outside, everything on the inside looks super nice. So yeah, maybe it has good bones. Maybe it almost looks like a stone roof. I don't know, that stuff looks kind of weird, but anyways, I guess with some work on the outside, looks like a crawl space is open over there, so that means there's probably stuff getting in there, but it probably has potential. I was actually walking over to show you guys another road, but I forgot that this is one of the homes for sale. So we'll take a look at this one. This is the eastern side of Historic Oakwood, and it's literally right next to the shop. So, you know, it's a good thing or a bad thing depending on what you're looking for, because all these trash cans right here get all the trash from the restaurant. And then just like everything else, they put that up to the curb over here and set it out. And so it just, a little smell, but I mean, that's only when they're setting out the trash. They were recently renovating this from what I remember, because I used to go on walks in this area. So yeah, can't go in. I mean, I could book an appointment to go in, but there's certain representation considerations to that. So for now, we're just gonna talk about it from the outside. So interesting spot, again, right next to here. Gets a lot of traffic with that. As you can see, there's places where they're doing renovations and whatnot, so decent area. All right, so right here, we're at the side of the Halloween house. We had a little bit of a detour. I didn't film it, but the owner of the home was actually out front setting up more decorations. His name is Jesse, a super friendly guy. So I went up to him and I was talking to him. I asked him like, hey, what's the deal here? Like, do you is this like your house or is this a business? Because on Google Maps, you see it there as Oakwood Halloween House, right? And it has like reviews and stuff like that. And it turns out it's just his house, and he just loves Halloween. And so he has year-round decorations, but every single Halloween, they actually close down the street for about 2 to 3 blocks. And there's like a massive trick-or-treating event. The governor comes out here to pass out candy. And apparently it's a really big deal around here. I never knew that, even though I don't live very far from here. So very interesting. All right, so we're coming up on the next house, 215 Northeast Street. And to put it in perspective, right where that truck just went out, that's the Halloween house. That's a super nice home right here. So I was also talking to Jesse, and he was talking about how there's a historic, how would you call it? It's not an HOA, but it's like a Historic Oakwood Association. It's more or less an HOA in terms of how it functions in terms of zoning and stuff like that. But the association fights pretty hard to maintain this zoning to this single family residency. And the idea is to prevent a lot of high density development that you would see typically in a city creeping into this area. Meaning the goal is to preserve Historic Oakwood. So anyways, we're at the next home, Urban Durham Realty. So this home is roughly 1.18 million. Again, can't go in, but from the outside, see, this home looks significantly better taken care of. This is about 2 blocks south and 3 blocks east of the other home. It goes pretty far back there. I think the other home's cost, the price was for the location, and this one here is also very nearby. A little bit cheaper, but still up there. Although this one looks way better condition and much larger. It has a back lawn over there. The landscaping is done pretty well. I mean, the color of the house is sort of like lighter blues, sort of the terracotta color, things like that, but still pretty good. So yeah, that's what it looks like from across the street. Anyways, let's go to the next house. It's not the main road. Newbern Avenue, which is a couple blocks, like 2 blocks that way, is the main east-west running road through here. But this road goes to downtown, so a lot of people that live in Historic Oakwood or one neighborhood over at Idlewild, they have to take this road to get in. So it's pretty busy. This is a one-way road. You can see the traffic. They've got new development on the other side over there. Looks like those are all sold. So anyways, so this home right here, this one's going for $850K, I believe. So I mean, this lot's decent. It's on a hill. House is okay. As you can see, it's on a main road, so if you have kids, probably a little worrisome. This area over here, there's about 6 different homes developed on one lot, and then it was subdivided and sold separately. Good location, you know, it gives you opportunity. Now over here, these are some nicer homes too. I actually went to an open house, a corner one right there. Super well designed, very, very cool. I mean, it's missing a front driveway, but other than that, it's crammed in there. It's designed really well. This led us to the next house. So this one is about, I think it was $580K, which is, I mean, a pretty reasonable value for this area. It's right off of that Loud Street, Compass Realty. You'll see a lot from Compass around here. So, I mean, it looks pretty well developed. I mean, a small home for sure by size, but I mean, this is kind of a hidden street. Yeah, super small lot, but I mean, the feeling, it looks like an empty lot here. Oh, I actually think this is one of the empty lots for sale. No, it's not. Either way, somebody's probably going to develop there at some point, as with everything in Oakwood. Small little side porch. Yeah, pretty decent home. So I mean, obviously this is all saying, I don't know what it looks like on the inside. It's just from the outside and talking about location. And since I can't legally show the home, I could walk through the home, and if I record, I need the seller's permission to record. Then also, it's a weird dynamic where if I'm not representing somebody, then I'm technically a sub-agent of the seller, which means I'm in a semi-representational relationship with the seller and the listing firm. So anyways, if you're gonna tour homes, have a signed buyer's agency agreement. And at that point, the representation is exclusive to you as the client. And with such is my fiduciary responsibility of disclosure. What that means is I'm going to be hunting for material facts and anything that could be adverse or supportive of your bargaining position. And everything I do, I'm holding confidential. So I'm not telling the sellers anything that they could use against you, right? So be under a buyer agency agreement. If you want to see any of the homes, message me directly or just sign on with another agent. So we're at the last home on Leonidas Court. First off, I mean, this home's not for sale, but oh, look, see, case in point. Literally adding an extension to the backside. Yeah, that's gonna make that more valuable for sure. You know, obviously, if you're buying a place like that, you want to make sure permits are being pulled. Okay, so here's the last house right here. So this one was, I think, 800K. Looks very well maintained. That's the cemetery right there. It looks very well maintained. But what I was saying is that it looks like a sizable property that extends far left. Yes, huge tree in the backyard there. So that's both aesthetically pleasing for those obviously who like trees, because I know some people prefer vacant lots, but a free tip, consider it a free tip for inspecting a home. When you see trees like that, you have to worry about rodents, specifically squirrels getting into the attic space, and you could see where two corners join together. Those are always intrusion points. Now, this house looks to be very well taken care of, but especially during winter, just simply being close to a tree like that allows squirrels to get up onto the roof and then chew their way through that space, and it becomes a nuisance getting them out. Oh, this is a super nice house. So this home, squirrel, right? Talking about attention span. That's like a modern color palette, sort of the green and the terracotta. Yeah, interesting place. So yeah, make sure when you see trees like that, like I like having trees in the property, that's good to me. Landscaping looks great. Just make sure you're keeping an eye out for those intrusion points. It's a fixable problem. All you have to do is reinforce it with I forgot the metal, but it's like a steel wool like material. It's too tough for their teeth to chew through. So, but if you get a squirrel into your attic, like I mean, I've had this happen to me. It's just super, super, super rough because like you can't always reach them, trap them and things like that. And they're just chewing their way through things. They could, like the one at my place literally chewed a hole through the ceiling, the drywall ceiling, creating a hole in it. And that unit in my house is an Airbnb, right? So it's just like, oh, of course, like I just have this hole in my ceiling, and then we sealed it off, and either it trapped the squirrel in the house or it trapped them outside of the house. But whatever the case was, is that we assumed it chewed another hole either to the exit or to re-enter through part of the roof. And so now, like yesterday, it poured, right? And I go up there to clean the Airbnb and get it ready for the new guests, and I just see this puddle of water on the ground. So thankfully that water isn't interacting with electrical wiring. See right there, look at that. Sneaky. Those things are dangerous. That's what I'm saying. They can cause electrical fires, they could chew through wood, they could cause water damage. In theory, they could chew through the insulation on piping that water runs through. And during the hot parts of summer, when the attic is super hot and you are running cold water through it, this is true with an air duct, by the way, it creates condensation. That condensation pools and causes water damage, and you don't even have the leak in the roof. So yeah, that's a tangent. It's a quick tip, very personal quick tip. Look out for trees. I think they're a plus, but just do your due diligence. these are actually, I just realized I was walking by these as well. 2 lots that are for sale. I don't remember, so I mean, I think this was 1 lot subdivided. I don't know why these haven't sold. These have been listed for a really long time. One of these is 405K and the other one is 390K. I don't know, like they're either listed too high, or one thing that's tricky, right? Because like, I would say one of the most cost-effective ways of getting a very valuable home is to build it, right? Like what a builder does is they buy the land, they manage the construction project to include financing, and then they have to sell it, right? Which includes marketing, sales, things like that. And so there's always an upmark, right? That's how they make their living. And these upmarks are like surprising sometimes. I mean, I'm talking hundreds. If somebody does a really good job, like they can make hundreds of thousands off of a new build. You know, if you're building it yourself and you manage that financing, then it still costs a lot of money. And a bank sees that as higher risk because there's a lot of milestones in the building process, a lot of opportunities for things to go wrong. But you're still gonna get it when everything's said and done for less money than what you would if you just bought it outright. But another reason why new construction is tricky is because when you're buying land, there may or may not be utilities run to it, but there also may be considerations with like the soil, for example, that makes the area less suitable for building. And typically, like most things, they're what's called curable in the real estate industry, which means it could be fixed. But obviously that's going to require more money. And so doing your due diligence up front, like when you're in the contract process, but also before you ever submit an offer, is very important. But you can only tell so much without hiring professionals. And if you hire professionals and find out something adverse and want to back out of the deal, like you're saving yourself a headache of blundering into a bad deal, but you're still spending money and you're spending time. So yeah, it's just weird to me with those types of lots, because like I feel like in this area they should have already been sold. So something's weird. Maybe it's just they're gonna sit on it and they're asking for a lot of money, and maybe somebody's not gonna buy it now, but down the road somebody will buy it. I've seen that right down the road of where I live. So maybe that's the case, who knows? Okay, so that is Historic Oakwood. I mean, I'm personally a fan. You could definitely tell that it's a neighborhood of charm, a neighborhood of character, I guess is probably the better way of saying it. But I've ran into a couple people throughout my walk, and everybody was just super easy to talk to. It sort of reminded me of a neighborhood where everybody knows everybody. Now, I assume that's a little bit more true in Historic Oakwood proper, but not as true once you get towards the new development areas, right? Because newer homes, people there are new to the area, and so they don't have those relationships as established. But I'm literally like, I'm sitting here, I'm in the neighborhood, and right down the road over there is downtown, right? So you have all the amenities, but this doesn't feel like a downtown neighborhood. Yeah, so if this is anything that you're interested in, or like I said earlier, you want to see inside of the homes, like reach out. This is what I do professionally. I'll walk through and show you the home, and under an agreement with you means I'm sharing all of the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that if this is actually where you want to live, you have an informed decision. And I'll be covering a lot more neighborhoods like this moving forward. So if it's something you're interested in or would like to see something covered more specifically, then just drop that in a comment and follow me on my channel. Thanks. Bye.